Alright, we're looking at the inside inspection part of the sheet right now, and what we're going to check on the inside, we're just going to check and make sure all of our power accessories work. And we're also going to check for windshield glazing and the windshield wipers, make sure the wipers and the sprayers and everything works. As for the windshield part of it, we're looking for cracks, chips, any discolorations, anything, that's not quite normal. Alright, first we'll look at the windshield. As you can see, there's nothing really going on with it. There's no cracks, and it looks pretty clear other than a little bit of bug splatter on it. I'm going to flip the windshield wipers on here with the washers. We got to check and make sure it all works. And of course it works, but I think I'd probably suggest new wiper blades eventually here. There you go. Are you recording? Okay, you're recording. Here we are, we're working on a Volvo truck. We're doing our DOT inspection. First we'll get all the information that we need. As you can see, for ease of use, we filled out the sheet beforehand, just so we're not standing here making the video and filling out the sheet, taking all your time up. We found a VIN number. It's right here. It is also right up here on the truck, and that's pretty much gives you most of your information on these two tags. You can find, the engine size and horsepower, the type of transmission, your weights, capacities, pretty much everything's on here. If you go up to the front fender of the truck, it's got the tractor number on it. That's also required on the sheet here. And that pretty much sums up filling out the inspection sheet and everything else that's needed to do with that. Alright, we're looking at the tires right now. Here's some things you want to look for. You want to check the tires, make sure they're not, chopped or pretty much gone. You want to check for screws, nuts, bolts, whatever you can find lodged in the tires. Make sure there's none of that. You're looking for fasteners. Make sure nothing's, rusted tight, broken, missing. You're making sure that there's no welds on the rims. Anything that, seems off or that might be a hazard, you want to take a look at it. And looking at the truck right now, the tires look good. There's no chopping going on. And all the lug nuts have the little caps on them. Everything's tight the way it looks. There's no welds on the rims. And that pretty much concludes your tires. Alright, for the next part of the inspection, we're going to look at the brake system. You want to check your low pressure warning light. We checked that when we were inside the cab, and of course it worked, so it was annoying. We're looking at the compressor. You're checking all the lines to make sure none of them are cracked or, rubbed through. You want to look for chafing. Check your... Yeah, we got some guy in the background here doing some funky shit. Anyways, we gotta check your drums, look at the linings, make sure there's no visual cracks in the drums, and you check, the lining. There's enough left on the linings, so we shouldn't have to worry about that. You look at your brake chambers, make sure there's no rust going through there, nothing's corroded or broken, and of course that looks like a pretty new chamber, so there's nothing wrong with that one.
Here is the low system air pressure in the cab.
Yeah, what's under the video?
Alright, here we are. We're looking at the exhaust system on the truck. We checked it all the way up from the engine down back. What we're looking for are cracks or holes, places that it might be rotted through, or if we have any missing pipes of the sorts. Come all the way back to the back of the truck, and we're checking just to see, make sure that it goes all the way up, I guess. It's just about it. Make sure that it's sturdy, not about to fall off. Of course, he's shaking his pipe. Go.
Alright, we're checking the fuel tank, checking the straps on it, make sure there's no metal contact, no rub-throughs, cracks, leaks. Check the gasket in the cap, make sure that's still good. Yep, looks good. There's been some repairs on the back here, but it doesn't seem to be leaking. I'd hope not, because it's on the top of the tank, but yeah.
Alright, here we are. We're checking the fifth wheel and the frame and all the other parts that correspond with loading and unloading the vehicle. We know this fifth wheel was just rebuilt, so we know that it's good. What we also want to check for, we want to check the frame around where it's mounted and in front or behind to make sure that there's no cracks in the frame, that nobody's tried repairing it. If it's needed, you can re-grease the fifth wheel, and that's about all we got there.
Go.
Alright, another part of the DOT inspection is we have to check our marker lights and running lights. As you can see, the clearance lights up top are working, our headlights work. If you can hear me in there, flash your brights. Apparently you can't hear me in there anyways. We know the brights work. You check your turn signals and other lights in the back. You check your headlights, your tail lights. Oh, now he's got the brights. And that's pretty much all for lighting.
Alright, steering wheel free play, legal limit is 45 degrees. And this is good, we got about maybe 10 degrees in there. So steering wheel free play is good and legal on this truck.
Alright, for this last section here, what we got to do is we got to check the rest of the steering components and the front part of the suspension. What we're looking for with the steering components is we're making sure that these U-joints are good in the steering shaft, and we also want to check the pump, you know, check where the lines are, and this top seal here, you want to make sure nothing leaks and that everything's tight. And then coming down here to the rest of the front suspension, apparently it's dark. Alright, we're back and it's no longer dark. We gotta check, you know, you gotta check your U-bolts, and we're checking this little ride height valve here. We're checking our tie rods, you know, making sure there's nothing that looks fully leaking of the sorts. And everything, of course, looks good.